We want to now consider this idea of a significant digit. So significant digits are helping us define accuracy. They're helping us see how accurate a particular number is. And to count the number of significant digits, you'll count all of the non-zero digits and the zeros between them or any zeros after a decimal. So we're going to look at several examples here to determine how many significant digits there are. And significant digits are going to come from approximate measurements. If you have a count, then that's actually an exact number, and any zero that occurs is part of the number. So these significant digits are really only useful when we're thinking about measurements and trying to determine how accurate they are. So example 3, part A, there are no zeros. So here we will have 3 significant digits because there's no zeros to worry about. But in part B, notice here that we have an 8 and a 9. There's no zeros in between them, and there's no zeros after a decimal place. And so there are only 2 significant digits here. Part C is a little bit different. You will notice that there's a little bar above one of the zeros. Anytime that you want to indicate digits that are significant, then you can put a bar over the final significant digit. Sometimes it'll just so happen that a measurement needs to include zeros. So in part C, there are actually 4 significant digits here. The last zero is not significant, but the bar over that second zero indicates that that's the last significant digit, and we'll just count everything before that. Letter D, you'll notice here that there is a 0, but it's between 2 non-zero digits. So that one is counted. And so in this case, we have 4 significant digits. Part E, we have 5.90. Since that last 0 is after a decimal, it will always be included in significant digits. So there are 3. Now looking at F, you have an 8 and a 7 and then 3 zeros. None of those are after a decimal. None of those are between our significant digits. And so we'll just have 2 significant digits here. But in letter G, the 4, the 0, and the 8 will all count as significant digits since that 0 is between 2 non-zero numbers, but the last 3 are not significant. And so here we'll just have those first 3 significant digits. Now in H, you have a 4, then some zeros, and a 5. Since all of those zeros are between significant digits, they all count. And so this one will have 5 significant digits. Letter I, all of the zeros that are before the 4 won't count. And this is one of the weird things. Even though I know that those 2 zeros are after the decimal, they are not after a significant digit. And so in this case, the first significant digit is 4. If you had zeros after this, then those would count as significant digits. But anytime you have leading zeros, those will not count. So this one actually just has 1. Now looking at J, this one's a similar problem, but here it starts with a 4 and then it has 3 zeros after the decimal place. Since all of those zeros occur after a significant digit and after a decimal, they will all count. And this one will be 4. And then finally for K, the 5, the 0, and the 3, those will all be significant. Any 0 before then does not count as a significant digit. And so here we have 3. Dealing with significant digits can always cause students a little bit of confusion because you're trying to determine which ones count, which ones don't. So there's 5 rules here to help you. All non-zero digits are significant. So that's an easy rule. If it's not a 0, it's definitely significant. If a 0 is between 2 significant digits, then they will also count. Zeros that are to the right of both a decimal point and another significant digit will be considered significant. But zeros placed at the beginning of a decimal problem or before other digits, those would not be significant. So that's like letter I and letter K. And then finally, zeros used as placeholders are not significant. What I mean by placeholders is looking at a question like F or G. You need those zeros so that you have, the thousands place shown. But those zeros at the end are not significant because they're only providing a placeholder so that you have the right magnitude for your numbers.